Hi, my name's Colin Noble, ultra marathon runner, and you're watching me on Run Forest Run TV. My name is Colin, and I am training for the Bravehearts777 Marathon 2024. So the Bravehearts777 Marathon is 7 marathons in 7 states in Australia over 7 consecutive days. And this is all for an organisation dedicated to the prevention and treatment of child sex abuse. When I heard about the Bravehearts777 Marathon, it was a cause that I just couldn't really walk away from. Felt like I had to get involved. I met some of the national runners before the 2023 event and went down to the Gold Coast to see them on day 7, and I met all of the national runners and the whole Bravehearts team off on the Gold Coast Marathon in 2023, and the energy that was present with those guys, I needed to be a part of that for 2024. So amazing cause, amazing people doing amazing work. So we're standing here at the start line for the Gold Coast Running Festival, where I'm going to be doing the 3/4 marathon today. So perfect opportunity now for me to shout out to my major sponsor, Sesame Lane. Sesame Lane are a childcare centre and kindergarten in the Moreton Bay region, and these guys have been phenomenal for me. They're helping me set up a pre-loved clothes sale where we're getting donations from everybody in and around the Moreton Bay area to come together collectively to sell our pre-loved clothes to raise money for Bravehearts. Another fantastic opportunity that they've given me is to spread the awareness through their entire network, sharing the same values as myself and Bravehearts. We're also raising some funds through some in-centre raffles. So each of the 14 daycare and kindergarten centres that Sesame Lane have, they've got gifts to raffle away. For a $10 entry, you can win things like a Nintendo Switch, an air fryer, things like that. Coming together, these guys are going to be absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so proud of myself to be able to bring these two networks together for years to come. But yeah, look, I always generally get nervous on these race days. I've got a bit of a nervous cough, so if you see me have a little cough today, it's just normal. I did a few this morning, but don't know what to be nervous about. I've run 30 kilometers, I don't know how many times, even just in recent weeks, so it's not a PB, I'm not an elite athlete, I'm not going for a win, I'm not going to be elbowing people at the front, so yeah, it's just about going out, having fun, because that's what it's all about as well, fitness and exercise. If you're not having fun when you're doing it, then yeah, what are you doing here? I did see a guy dressed as the Flash before, so like it's no shame in getting beat by the Flash, but it's always nice to beat somebody that's dressed in costume. Now obviously training for something like this, everybody's got to change their training habits, their lifestyle to suit something that's going to get them through these 295 kilometers in that 7 days. I currently work in the mines as a HV electrician on the diesel electric haul trucks out at Murrumbidgee. So I work 7 and 7, so I fly out to Murrumbidgee for a week, then I fly home for a week. What this does is it allows me to structure my training through my coach Marcus Forrest to have shorter, more impactful speed events, speed runs, fartlek sessions in my days at work. So my body is nice and recovered for when I get home.
So what do you have in your bottles on your nerd belt?
I've actually got Fix Nutrition in here. So it's a good carb blend, plus it's got some good electrolytes. I've got the watermelon flavour on one side, I've got the lemon lime sitting on the other, so yeah, should see me through. So I can really clock up those big kilometres and back up those big runs after big runs. Sometimes we'll run 30 kilometers in the morning and we'll back it up with a half marathon in the afternoon. Doing this for 7 days and then tapering off my body for that week while I'm at work really gives me an insight into how my body is going to feel and react during that race week. From here, We can tweak little things as we need to, touch base with Marcus, see what went well, what didn't go well, tweak my nutrition. Obviously recovery is a massive part of this as well. Getting in those little naps in the afternoon before I go for my second run, before I pick the kids up from school because life still happens. Little things like that allow me to go again the next day and the next day and the next day. Really giving me a feel for what it's going to be like for that Bravehearts777 in 2024. A typical training day for me when I'm at home, when my day's off work, looks a little bit like this. My alarm will go off at around 3:15 to 3:30. I'll get up, I'll have some cereal, get some sugary cereal into me before I aim to hit the road around about 4 a.m. to 4:15. Laying my clothes out the night before, getting my nutrition sorted, having my heart rate monitor, making sure my headlamp's charged. 4 a.m. is very dark in Australia, especially up here in Queensland when we're getting towards those winter months. Having all that ready allows me just to get up, focus on what I need to do to get out, to make sure I get those miles in. So then I can come home, aim to be home around that 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. to help Jess with the kids, get the kids off to school, come back and get some recovery into me. Making sure I have that post-race smoothie as I'm walking out the door to drop the kids off. Refueling my body, putting that good stuff back in my body, allowing me to go again in the afternoon. Once I've got those few little things done, it's a little bit of rest, relaxation, what I need to do. Few little jobs in the morning, reaching out to sponsors, Coach Forrest, Coach Sammy, ticking those little boxes, allowing me to have that lunch around about 11:30, giving me that ample time to give myself 60 to 90 minutes sleep, rest, recovery, downtime. Waking up, some more fuel, some crumpets, something like that into my body, a little bit of honey before I'm back out the door around about that 2 to 2:30 p.m, aiming for another 2 to 2.5 hour session. From there, coming home, again, jumping into a nice warm bath with some magnesium flakes, jumping into my endurance recovery boots, downtime with the family, say good day to the kids, have that big time spent with the kids after dinner, making sure that they get a piece of me as well. So with 9 weeks to go, this is what I'm looking like for my training, nutrition, race planning, all for that lap around Australia. So the last few months have been amazing, pulling in some big weeks in training, up to 200 kilometers some weeks. Unfortunately, at one point there was a little niggle in my groin. I went straight to the physio, spoke to Marcus, my coach. We dialed that training back and we've seen the back end of that, so that's amazing. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to build for those next 9 weeks, layering on what the base that we've already got, pushing through some more 200 kilometer weeks, getting ready for that 295 kilometer week on the 1st of July. A couple of weeks before that race week, what we'll do is we'll taper that kilometers, those mileage back, listening to my body, listening to my coach, and making sure my mind doesn't go full steam ahead like my legs may want to. So listen to my coach, listen to my body, get some massages in, making sure that I'm primed and ready to go come the 1st of July. So in those last few weeks, as we're leading into that race week, it's really important that I have all of my equipment ready. As you can appreciate, jumping on a plane straight after a marathon, I'm not going to be able to just wash the same running kit, use the same shoes day in, day out. So there, I'm going to need those 7 kits, rotate a nice couple of pairs of shoes, make sure I've got everything I need to be comfortable in those 42 kilometers per day for that week. So making sure I've got my fuel from Morton or Pure Sports Nutrition, making sure my nerd belt, so I'll take my big nerd belt, take my small nerd belt, my LSKD running gear, my ASICS running gear, making sure I've got 7 kits of those laid out in a bag for day 1 through to 7, making sure there's no way that I can forget what I'm wearing, any kit for each day of the marathon. The most important bit of kit that I think I've found this whole training is Injinji socks. These things are phenomenal. They have separators, so each toe goes into its own little glove, if you will, eliminating any toe rub, any horrible little blisters, perfect for ultra marathons, marathon after marathon, multi-day training, unbelievable. The guys at Athlete's Foot store in North Lakes as well has given me $1,000 worth of shoes. So from there, 4 pairs of shoes has seen me through my training so far, and I cannot thank these guys enough. All these little 1%ers just build up to make sure that training has been easy leading into that race week. So we're doing all these kilometers, recovery is paramount. The way that I've been doing it, coming in from runs, throwing some magnesium flakes into a hot bath, jumping in there, having a little soak for 20 to 30 minutes before I then go for a wash down and a shower. Endurance recovery boots have been amazing, sending me some full length boots, also some hip and glute boots. Phenomenal piece of kit, really good to just sit down, have that downtime for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, putting these recovery boots into the different compression modes, allowing my body just to slow down, relax, and those compression, just getting that blood flow working through some of those stiff muscles. The other thing is the pain pod pads. So these send an electromagnetic pulse to some stiff, tight areas. So another thing that I've been using is a little device called a pain pod. So the pain pod has these 2 little pads that stick to your muscles where you have knots, and it sends a little electromagnetic pulse to break those knots down where your muscles are tight, stiff. I've been using them on my calves and on my quads as well. Perfect for that little bit of recovery as well. The other thing that I've been doing in recovery is foam rolling. So foam rolling is a staple for any athlete. I've got multiple rollers for different uses. I've got flat rollers, I've got knobby rollers for really getting into those tight muscle areas. And of course, heading to bed, perfect for recovery, chamomile tea, and I lay down on my Shakti mat. So I wouldn't be able to clock these kilometers without having full, proper nutrition. For that, I got myself a performance dietitian called Sammy Staines from Ideal Nutrition in Brisbane. Working with her for these past 3 months has been phenomenal. She looked at my diet beforehand, she looked at what I believed was a really good diet, which was not necessarily bad, but maybe not good for an endurance runner, ultramarathon runner, multi-day marathon runner like myself. So working with Sammy, we looked at the timing of foods, just the little nuances of what fruit is good to go in certain areas at certain times, what's going to give me a high carb content. Looking for those 5-hour days, we're going to need somewhere close to 80 to 90 grams of carbs per hour. When you break that all down, we're sitting at somewhere between 4 and 5,000 kilometers on 4 to 5,000 calories on some days. You really need to make sure that you plan your nutrition properly to make sure you're hitting those goals, otherwise the next day falls over and it's a domino effect. Not only pre and post nutrition have I worked with Sammy, but also during. So during, we've looked at certain energy gels that's gone with me, energy drinks, high carb drinks to take with me on those runs. Most of my training, probably 95% of my training, has been solo. So self-sustained running for 3 hours at a time, you need to take your nutrition with you. So that's energy gels, fluids, carb drinks, and everything. For this, the thing that has made it really, really easy for me is the Nerd Belt. So the Nerd Belt has multiple pockets, multiple holes for your energy gels. It also has these handy little pockets for different size bottles for your high carb drinks, your electrolytes, and things like that. So depending on how far you're running, how far you need, there's different versions of this belt to allow you to make sure if you only need a short run, you can have the smaller belt. If you're out for 3 hours plus like me, running up to 67 kilometers some days, I tend to take the version 2, which has got the slightly bigger bottles. People will ask me how I got into this crazy sport, but for me it all stems from my childhood. I was always a very active kid, playing football, rugby, right through my childhood life into my teens and early adult life as well. Playing rugby union for Espetria Rugby Union Football Club back in my hometown in the Lake District in the UK. I had a physio at that rugby club called Alan Harker, and he was actually a triathlete coach down in Manchester with a lot of the triathletes. From there, he told me it might not be a silly idea for me to give a half marathon a try. I think that was in 2007, some almost 20 years ago, and I've never looked back since. My dedication has never been as much as what it is now. Linking up with Coach Sammy, Coach Marcus has really helped me see the phenomenal benefits of this type of training as well. What's next after the 777s? I'm going to give myself a week off. I've got a friend's 40th. Probably have a few beers with him. I haven't had a beer for 12 weeks now. So with 9 weeks to go, that's going to be 21 weeks alcohol and coffee free. So really aiming to push that. It's been phenomenal for my body. It's really helped me see the impact those can have for my training and my day-to-day life. But I will definitely be letting my hair down. Not to rest on my laurels though. We've got the Sunshine Coast 70.3 in September, leading into the triathlon season here in Australia for the summer, and maybe, depending on some conversations with Coach Forrest, maybe hit some trail runs, some trail marathons, some trail half marathons, either side of that summer when the weather's just a little bit cooler. So if you want to support me, if you want to follow my journey through the Bravehearts 777, through to the 70.3 in September and beyond, you can find me on social media at col_tries_hard. I'm a pretty active Instagram member, so if you jump on there, you'll see some funny reels from time to time. From there, you'll be able to click the link in my bio. That will take you to Strava, to my Facebook, to the Bravehearts 777. So Bravehearts, wonderful organisation, need everybody's help. There's children that need our support, and there's impacted family members that need our support as well. So click the link, follow me on socials, go and have a look at the Facebook page, see what they're all about. This is a cause that we all need to get behind, so go take a look. Anybody watching this, if you're feeling inspired, if you want to get yourself a little bit more active, my advice to you would be take yourself to your local park run. It's a phenomenal event. It's free, it's timed. You can take the whole family. I take Jess and the kids every single week. From there, it snowballs. If you want to get into endurance sports, if you want to test yourself, slightly longer distances, timed events, my advice, cannot recommend this enough. Get yourself a really good coach. Before I touch base with Coach Forrest, I had no structure to my training. What I thought was good, now looking back, was just sporadic, how I felt when I felt it. So get yourself a good coach, give Coach Forrest a call, see what your goals are. If it's just to run a little bit further, maybe bike a little bit more, maybe put all three together and do a little swim, give Coach Forrest a call. Further advice from there, whatever distance, training, coached or uncoached, my advice to you would be don't go too hard, listen to your body, take it slowly, dial in on your nutrition. So all of those things, doesn't matter what walk of life we're in, those little things, recovery, nutrition, benefit us regardless of how active we are. So if you can be a little bit more mindful in those things, your body will allow you to do more active things, allow you to push yourself a little bit further to achieve those goals and show you actually probably how easy those goals were and you should have been reaching a little bit further.